You know that market is a place where everybody buys and sells power in a very competitive way. But there is a chance of exercising market power. So what do you mean by exercising market power? Exercising market power means increasing the prices or varying the capacity, varying the generation capacity, or varying the transmission availability. If any of these actions do happen in the market, if any of these actions do happen in the market because of one or other players, either by intentionally or by accidentally, then it is called as exercising of market power. We have seen that there are few instances how market power is being exercised. We know that there are three major areas in power system. One is the generation, the other one is the transmission, and the other one is the distribution sector. So normally, market power is exercised in generation sector. Majorly, it is exercised in the generation sector, and partly it can be observed in transmission sector. But most of the times, we don't see any market power exercising in the distribution sector because mostly it's comprised of the consumers. Consumers will always be looking for a decrease in power, so they won't go with an increase in power. Only if there is an increase in power, we will term it as market power. So we have seen these things in the previous class, in the previous lecture, and there were a few instances. I have given you a few examples of how it will be done. Let's have a quick recap of how this can be done, how prices can be increased. Now let us suppose I will take a simple state electricity sector. Now let us suppose there is a state electricity sector. Let us suppose I am taking an example of Telangana state electricity sector. Where we do have TS Genco, TS Transco, and we do have TS NPDCL and TS SPDCL. Isn't it? This is the structure of our electricity sector in our state, isn't it? These are the three major areas: generation, transmission, and discoms. And here we do have private players also. I am representing as PP1 and PP2. These are private players. They are of smaller magnitude. But anyway, see, transmission sector is one. It's completely owned by the government, and here there are two distribution companies. And here there are two distribution companies, and here there are three generating companies. Now what I'm doing is I'm just removing this one. Normally the NPDCL and SPDCL, they do have freedom to purchase power. So this is an ideal market where everybody can purchase power from any person, whether it is a government-based Genco or from private players. Wherever they can find a lower price, they can buy the power, isn't it? So this must be the ideal case. And the transmission sector, must allocate transmission lines between these plans between these participants to transfer the power, isn't it? So if let us suppose if there is a transfer of power between private player 1 and SPDCL, it must allocate the transmission line. If there is a power transfer between this guy and this guy, then also it is supposed to transfer. Here, if it is a power transfer, then also it must allocate the transmission line, right? So TS Transco must provide transmission services to any of these players in a fair manner. But what happens, let us suppose, I am just taking an instance. Now this TS Transco, let us suppose this is a government company and this is also government company. Now let us suppose if both become into a tie-up, if both they form a closed loop and this guy being a government agency, let us suppose if he shows any undue advantage to his sister company or his brother company, which is also, let us suppose in this case it is also a government company. Let us assume it is owned by, both are owned by the government. So both are under the same proprietorship. So in this case, there is an unduly advantage for this guy. He is holding up the transmission system in order to get more percentage of the transmission system or to get any undue advantage. So because this is a bottleneck of the system. Without transmission sector, you can't transfer power from here to here. There is no meaning of deals being done between these private players and the DISCOM company. So this is a bottleneck. This is the heart of the system. And this guy is voluntarily controlling the system. If this happens, so this is one area, generation area, transmission area, and DISCOM area. Now see here, one guy in the generation area is controlling the bottleneck by having control in the second area also. Okay, this type of thing is called as vertical market power. This type of thing is called as vertical market power. So what will he get if he gets control of this transfer? What will he do? He will not allow these guys to transfer the power. So then what will he do? He must buy power only from this guy. So whatever price he says, he should buy the power from this guy. Because these guys do not have any transmission facility. So since he is controlling transmission, so this guy is forced to buy power at whatever the cost he dictates. This is the problem with the vertical market power. Vertical market power is an instance of market power when one person controls two or more areas. Okay. So how this can be avoided? This can be avoided by making the bottleneck of the system. An electrical system, we call it as a transmission system. If this transmission system is made independent, then what happens? Then everybody can enjoy fair access to the transmission system. So, a perfectly designed ISO, independent system operator, can oppose the vertical market power. So, developing an ISO can overcome the vertical market power. This is what we have discussed today. Now, we will move on to the horizontal market power. Now, what is horizontal market power? So there is customer 1 and there is customer 2 and there are 3 players. There are 3 players, or let us suppose there are 4 players and there can be a deal among all these players. Ideal case, what must happen? This guy should purchase the power where he finds the least, isn't it? So, final 4 players unnara. Anybody can sell electricity, so he will choose the electricity from the guy who can offer him at the least price, isn't it? So this is what can happen. But let us suppose these four guys, if they form a closed knit group, normally let us suppose we have 2 rupees, we have 3 rupees, if he offers at 3 rupees, if he offers at 4 rupees, if he offers at 5 rupees, then everybody will go to this guy and buy the power, isn't it? At 2 rupees. So if there is a true competition, then automatically we will always go for the least price. But let us suppose if these people have formed into a group and combinedly they are quoting a cost of 10 rupees. Combinedly they are quoting they have come into a deal and they are quoting 10 rupees. So do we have any choice now? No, we don't have any choice. See, these guys, they have formed into a group and they have increased the price and now they are quoting this much amount of price and we don't have any choice. And ISO will look over only the transmission sector. It has nothing to do in this one. Isn't it? Transmission sector is okay, it is available, but the problem is that the generation companies are offering the electricity at a very higher price. This is the problem. So here where the power is exercised, it is exercised only in generation area by multiple companies. So power is being spread horizontally. So this type of thing is called as horizontal market power. This is called as horizontal market power. So can ISO do anything here? No. ISO cannot overcome the horizontal market power. This is the biggest problem with horizontal market power. So if the companies, generation companies, they form into a closely knit group and they will start manipulating, and if they start manipulating the price, then ISO has no control over this type of market power, which is generally termed as horizontal market power. Now understand, there are two types of market powers. One is horizontal market power, there is another one is vertical market power. And horizontal market power can be overcome by the vertical market power can be overcome by the ISO, whereas horizontal market power can't be controlled by the ISO, isn't it? Now, we will move on to now we will move on to entrepreneurship development now. Now let us suppose I want to enter into your business. Because yesterday I told you that I will teach you how to determine whether a market is competitive or not, right? Now we have seen that there are so many options for us in generation sector. Everybody is free to enter the generation sector. Now let us suppose there are already 3 players. Let us suppose I am taking 4 players. Player 1, player 2, player 3 and player. They already have some sort of market share. Let us suppose all these are generation companies. They are already selling the power. They are already having a particular capacity and everybody is selling the power. Let us assume that. Okay. Now let us suppose if I want to enter the market. Before entering the market, I should know whether the market is competitive or not, isn't it? There are various indices which will consider so many things. But today I will just give a glimpse, a basic glimpse of how these will be computed. Just a basic understanding. So one such term is HHI, which is a basic index, for computing the competition in the market. It is called as Herfindahl-Hirschman index. Now we will see with the help of this Herfindahl-Hirschman index, we will see whether this market is competitive or not, whether we can enter this market and whether we can do anything, whether we can get any profits in this market, whether we can handle this market or not. So now let us see. In the electricity market, let us suppose there are 4 companies which are capable of generating the power. Let us suppose these guys, he is generating 200 megawatts of power. This guy is generating 50 megawatts of power, and this guy is generating some 60 megawatts of power. I'll take some round figure to do it. So this guy is developing some 50 megawatts of power. There are already 4 people who are capable of generating the power, isn't it? Now, how to know whether this market is competitive or not? Ideally, let us suppose, I'll just take, if this is 1000 megawatts of power. Normal గిట్లా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏమైతుంటాయి మార్కెట్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఉన్నట్ట కాదు మార్కెట్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుందంటేనే అందరూ చిన్న చిన్న ప్లేయర్లు ఉన్నప్పుడు కాంపిటీషన్ ఉంటుంది ఎవడో ఒకడు పెద్ద మాస్టర్ ఉన్నాడు అనుకుంటాం కెన్ వి ఎంటర్ ఇన్ టు ద మార్కెట్ వి యాజ్ ఎ స్మాల్ ప్లేయర్ కెన్ వి ఓవర్కమ్ దిస్ వే ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ డిఫికల్ట్ ఫర్ us to overcome this way, right? Because he is having a very big share, he can control the prices directly because he can exercise market power very easily because of the share which he has. See how much share he has? 50, 100, 50, and 200, it is 1000. మిగిలిన అందరిది 200 megawatts ఉంటే వీడికి ఒక్కరిది 1000 megawatts. He can easily control the share. He can easily control these prices, and the market is never going to be a competitive market if there is a single largest player. I told you in my previous lecture also. If there is a single largest player, then automatically what he will do? He will reduce the price and he will offer the electricity at a very least price. So these guys won't be find any buyers for them. So immediately they will close their companies and or they will sell their companies to you. So that's fine. The market is considered competitive when there is no single largest player, and every other players also, they are all small players. They are all having some small interest. Now let's see, just with the help of these figures, let's see what is the normal. Now this guy is having a very fine picture now, 1000 megawatts when compared to all the others. Whether it is competitive or not. This is not going to be a competitive market. Let us suppose if I enter into this market as a 5th player, I am a small guy of 25 megawatts. If I enter, immediately what will happen? I will be immediately boosted out in 6 months, isn't it? Nobody will come to buy power from me. Everybody goes to this guy because he is the most influential figure in this. On seeing the picture I can say, but let us see how we can compute actually. Whether we can compute the things. Now, so I am taking a simple example. I am just taking it as 200 megawatts. Now, so what I will do, I will just draw a table. This is HHI. HHI formula is sigma. HHI formula is sigma I is equal to 1 to n SI square, where S is share. So how to determine this? I will show you. Now I will write a table here: P1, P2, P3, P4. Okay. Now, what is its generation capability? It is 200 megawatts. In megawatts I am writing 50, 100, 50. Isn't it? What is the total one? What is the total, guys? It is 400 megawatts, right? Now, what is the share of this guy? Out of 400 megawatts, he is carrying 200 megawatts. So, what is the share of this guy? I am writing here, percentage share. So, what is the share of this guy? 50% share he is owning. And this guy is owning 25% of share. And this guy is owning 12.5% of share. And this guy is owning 12.5% of share. Combinedly, which is nothing but 100%. This is SI. This is SI. Now what I am going to do is nothing but I am going to take SI square. I am going to take SI square. So which means 50 square is 4500. And this is, can everybody say me what is this? 4500 by 625. I think this is So if anybody can sum all these things, can say what is the sum of all these things? It is 3,437.25. Somewhere around 3,437. So this is HHI. Now, sir, I have calculated HHI. This is HHI. How much I have got? Some 3,430 something approximately. So now I have computed this. So based upon this value, they will say whether it is competitive or not. Now let us see whether this is competitive or not. The range of HHI, I will write it here. If HHI is less than 1500, then it is considered as very competitive market. A perfectly competitive marketplace. Very competitive. A perfect competitive market, what I call it. Now let us suppose if HHI lies between 1500 to 2500. If it lies between 1500 to 2500, then it is called as moderately competitive. If HHI is greater than 2500, then it is called as highly concentrated place. Highly concentrated marketplace where you cannot enter and cannot do business in a very competitive way. Now you see this one. This market is having a HHI which is of value of 3,500, which is very greater than 2,500, which means that it is a very highly concentrated place where you cannot do any competitive business. So when can this value come down? So let us suppose when can this market come down? Can anybody say? How can this value be reduced? Okay, let me ask you one question. How many of you are actually listening? How many of you are actually able to understand this? What I'm saying? Can you raise your hand? One person, five, six, four. That's it? Right. Now, guys, I hope you have now understood. This electricity market, a market is common. If there are players who are owning 50%, 25%, then it is never going to be a competitive market. ఎక్కువ మంది ఉండాలి ఒక్కొక్కటి దగ్గర తక్కువ షేర్ ఉండాలి అప్పుడు ఎవరు కూడా మార్కెట్ ఫోర్ ఎక్సర్సైజ్ చేయలేదు దట్ ఇస్ ద బెస్ట్ వే ఎప్పుడైనా సరే కాంపిటేటివ్ మార్కెట్ సో ఇప్పుడు చూడండి ఈ వాల్యూ నేను తగ్గాలంటే నాకు ఏం ఐడియల్ థింగ్స్ ఏముండాలి వచ్చినా చెప్పండి ఈ వాల్యూస్ అన్ని తక్కువ ఉండాలి ఈ వాల్యూస్ తక్కువ ఉండాలంటే ఈ వాల్యూస్ ఏమైండాలి ఇవన్నీ తగ్గాలి అవునా కదా సో ఈ వాల్యూస్ తగ్గాలి అంటే నాకు ఏం కావాలి చెప్పండి మీరే చెప్పండి షేర్ తక్కువ ఉండాలి ఈ షేర్ దిస్ ఇస్ షేర్ నాట్ దిస్ వాల్యూ వాడి కెపాసిటీ కదా దిస్ వన్ ఇస్ షేర్ వాడి షేర్ తక్కువ ఉండాలి షేర్ తక్కువ ఉండాలంటే నంబర్ ఆఫ్ ప్లేయర్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి తక్కువ ఉండాలి యూ కెన్ టైప్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్ when can the market become more competitive when the number of players is high or low anybody now let us take one more thing for you I will take one more thing now so better understand now let us suppose there are 8 players now. Now, these are the generation capacity, n megawatts. Now, what is the total one? Can anybody compute? Does anybody hold a calculator? What is the combined value?
$200.
200.
Yes. So, if 200 megawatts is the combined value. Now, what is the share of this? I'm writing here SI. What is SI? 25 by 200. It is 1/8 part, isn't it? So, what is this one? Can I write it as 12.5%? 12.5% together? Correct, Nana?
Yes, sir.
This is also 12. Cost is up under 12.5, 25 under 1, 12.5 also. 20 megawatts out of 200, so it is 10%, right? 30 megawatts out of 200, it is 15%. This is again 10%. This is 30%. Now let us calculate what is SI square. 12.5 square, I think we have already computed. What is 12.5 square? Anybody?
156.2.
156.25.
156.25. Very good. 156.25. This is 156.25. This is 10 square is 100. This is 15 square is Antara? 175, right?
225.
Very good. Can anybody compute the sum of all these? Anybody? What is the sum of all these things?
$12.75.
Very good. Now 1275 is well below this 1500. Now this is can be considered as a very competitive one. I can enter this market and can make some profit. This is what I can say. Now let us suppose see. Number of players has increased. So if the number of players increases, then automatically the HSI will be decreasing and it will be a competitive marketplace. Now, is this true for all the things? No, sir, it may not be true for all the things. Now, I'll show you one particular thing. Increasing the number of players will not make a market competitive. Right? Don't always feel that more number of players are there, the market is going to be competitive. Now, I'll show you one more thing. So there are 11 players. The number is still increased when compared to the previous. So what is the total power, beta? What is the total power now? 10 players of 10 megawatts each and 1 player of 100 megawatts. So what is the total power here? 200 megawatts, isn't it? It is 200 megawatts. Now what is the share of this guy? 50% share he is having. And this guy is 10 megawatts out of 200, which means it is 5% and everybody is owning 5%. Squaring 2500 and this is 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25 and 25. So now if you sum all these things, what is the value? 2750. 2750. Is the market going to be a competitive one? No, this market is not a competitive one. See, it is a very highly concentrated. Increasing the number of players will not improve the competition. Competition will improve when the number of players increases, and also it is not concentrated only with single person. Concentration must not be there. I hope you have now understood what I am saying. HSI is a basic index beta, but realistically there are many other factors which do come into picture when you are computing whether the market is competitive or not. So this was just only for your understanding, HSI. So what are the factors considered? Number of firms which are there in the market and relative size of each firm, the share which it holds. These two play an important factor in determining the competition in the market. Got it? Have you understood that? Question? So this is regarding the market power. And before I leave, before I close this session, I would like to say one thing. I hope now you have understood what is market power and how to estimate the market power and how to identify whether a market is competitive or concentrated. Yes, we have done. On the whole, on the completion of first unit, what can we see? Market power is one hell lot of things where everybody should be given an opportunity. Market is a place where everybody should be given opportunity to do business in a very competitive way. But if there are less number of players, then automatically what happens? Somebody will exercise market power. Isn't it? And if somebody exercises market power, then automatically price of electricity will be increasing. And finally, participants will exit from this market, which is not a good sign for the market to continue. So this is an end to this market power session lecture. I hope you have understood. So how many of you do agree that there must be a restructuring of the system? How many of you do agree that now the power must not be vested in one particular hand? Power must be spread over, isn't it? A single entity must not exist. Who governs generation, transmission, and distribution? In our Electricity Act 2003 itself, which was the base for the restructuring of Indian power sector, Electricity Act 2003. It laid a foundation for restructuring of Indian power sector. So it particularly stated that all the state governments, earlier in all the state governments, there used to be SEB. We call it a State Electricity Board. We called it as a State Electricity Board. It used to control the generation, transmission, and distribution. It used to control all the three things. And it used to record huge number of losses. When there is a combined business, it is difficult for us to identify where the loopholes are, isn't it? So that's why the Electricity Act 2003, it insisted the state electricity board to separate these things. So like that we have got separate GENCO, it is a separate generation corporation, TRANSCO and DISCOMs, distribution companies. Now then after thorough analysis, we identified that the losses are majorly because of this distribution sector. Technical losses and financial losses are majorly coming in distribution sector. Transmission sector was somewhat efficient, generation was also somewhat efficient, but the biggest problem was the distribution sector, which was resulting in huge number of losses, aggregate technical and commercial losses. So this was the culprit, which was resulting in a poor efficiency of the entire power system. This happened when we have divided this entire thing into separate things, isn't it? Now, we'll think about a simple business. Now let us suppose there is a company A which owns generation, transmission and distribution. And to run this company, let us suppose it has brought some 100 crores of loan. It has brought some 100 crores of loan, let us suppose, to run its generation, distribution and transmission. And because of this Electricity Act 2003, now this one is being divided into separate companies. Okay. Now this one is being divided into separate companies. Now the question is, earlier when everything was under single control, this guy has borrowed 100 crores for handling this business combined. Now what he is doing, he is dividing the entire thing. Now what is happening now? Now what he is doing is nothing but he is just only sitting in the table and monitoring. He doesn't have control over the generation, nor distribution, nor transmission. What he does is nothing but he does only regulation. When it was undivided, he borrowed some money. But when everything went off, and he is only confined to only a small thing, now he is left over with no businesses to handle, but he has got a huge debt of 100 crores. And this type of things are called as stranded costs. What these are called as stranded costs. That was the biggest problem when we started restructuring, because the parent companies had huge amounts of debt, and the new companies, they were not ready to take up the debt. They were just started. So these debts were left over with the parent company, and these were called as stranded costs. Now, how to collect these stranded costs? How to make out with this stranded costs? This was the biggest problem. Understand now? So I just wanted to give standard costs are the biggest problem when you are going to restructure a company. Who is going to take up this standard cost? The definition of standard cost is very simple. We'll pen down the definition now. Standard costs, it is not standard, standard costs are those costs which are previously observed by the parent company or which are previously observed by the combined business, what we can call it as. I won't write it as parent company, first of all, which are previously observed by the combined business entity, but remained with, when it was combined, then those were the costs, but remained with the parent company after separation. These are called as standard costs. Now, what are the problems with the standard cost? Now, మీరే ఉన్నారు, మీకు ఇద్దరు పిల్లలు ఇస్తారు అనుకున్నాం, let us suppose. You have got married and you have got 2 kids and you have invested a lot of things on those 2 kids. And those 2 kids, they have grown up and they have started their own homes. And now you have nothing to left over. You are now retired and you have nothing with you. Now you have got so much amount of expenditure which you have spent on your kids. Now this is called as the standard cost. You have invested feeling that it is a combined family, and now everybody has gone out from your family, and just you are living alone and retired with no money in your hand. Now the question is, how to determine standard cost? Because when it was parent company, nobody asked who. When it was a single entity, nobody asked what was the cost and what was everything, where it is going. So how to determine the standard cost? And the second thing, biggest problem is how to recover them. Once, let us suppose if you have determined that this is the cost which we have spent, now how to recover? Now how to recover? Let us suppose if there is a possibility of only small recovery, then immediately the question is how much is to be recovered? How to recover and how much to be recovered? Because nobody will be ready to pay 100% back, right? Because they will directly say, who asked you to invest? So immediately the question rises, okay, now if you are not ready to recover completely, then how much is to be recovered? And finally, who pays the recovery? And when? So these are the issues with the standard. This is one thing. Now, Indian companies are heavily, they are facing the standard companies because Electricity Act 2003 mandated that all the state governments should be converted into a vertical to horizontal type of utility. It mandated that generation, transmission and distribution must be separate. Now, it has got separated, but the problem is that the parent companies, they are having huge amounts of debt. Now, the question is, the problem is with the losses. They have made huge debts. Now, who is going to pay for those debts?
Is my voice audible for you? So now what is the final conclusion now? So whenever you are developing a market, make sure that there is no market power, nobody can exercise market power. You make sure that there is no single person who maintains a major share, and you always check that there are maximum number of players in the market so that it becomes more competitive. And the second thing is what we have learned in the last moment is standard costs. Whenever you are dividing a parent component, whenever you are dividing a combined entity, make sure that you make proper regulations that who is supposed to bear the standard cost and how to